lockdown. 3 countries now investigating Novak Djokovic, and Aussies back for the 5th Ashes test. It's Thursday, January 13. Hi there, it's Amy Drew with your news briefing. Australia is now approaching 150,000 daily COVID cases, with 147,000 already recorded today. Most of those have come from Victoria and New South Wales, collectively adding 129,000. Although the New South Wales total does include positive rats from the past month, the country has also lost more than 50 lives in the past 24 hours. Queensland is removing the border barricades earlier than expected, ditching entry passes from 1 a.m. Saturday. In another plus for incoming travellers, the negative rapid antigen test requirement is being scrapped.
Now is the time for the barricades to come down as we head towards hitting that 90% next week.
Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk there. Victoria has extended its close contact isolation exemption list amid staff shortages in several sectors. Premier Dan Andrews announcing that will include education, emergency services, transport and freight workers.
They will be exempt if they're playing a critical role. They will be exempt from having to do home ISO. They will need to take a RAT test for 5 days. And if that is negative, then they can proceed to do that critical work that we need them to do.
State and territory leaders are currently in a national cabinet meeting with staff shortages and school returns on the agenda. They'll also be looking at whether to add more essential workers to that COVID ISO exemption list nationally. Federal opposition's also continuing to put the pressure on the Prime Minister to make at-home tests free.
This government, when they announced some testing for free for concession card holders, then went out afterwards and told pharmacists that they were on their own accessing the tests to be made available for concession card holders.
And Novak Djokovic is still waiting to see whether he'll get to play in the Australian Open. The Immigration Minister could still cancel the tennis star's visa, with a final decision expected before the end of the day. There are also reports the world number 1 is being investigated by Spanish authorities to check he didn't enter the country illegally last month. That's as Serbia continues their probe into whether he dodged his isolation period after testing positive.
The Snooze Super Summer Sale is now on. Save up to 50% on mattresses and up to 40% on bed frames. Exclusions, T's and C's apply.
Checking sport now, Aussie skipper Pat Cummins insists the future is still bright for Marcus Harris, despite the opener being dropped in favour of Queenslander Usman Khawaja for tomorrow's final Ashes test.
This is probably more a case of someone demanding a spot as opposed to, Marcus losing a spot due to form.
Travis Head will replace Khawaja further down the order after the South Australian recovered from COVID. The exact makeup of the starting 11 is still being confirmed, with Scott Boland needing to pass a fitness test to take his place in Hobart. He did fail to bowl during training yesterday, but is giving it a crack, the Savo. Australian Open organisers have cancelled announcing the draw schedule for the tournament until further notice. It comes amid the uncertainty over Novak Djokovic's deportation status. And Hobart and Sydney Thunder are facing off in the first match of today's Big Bash doubleheader, while the Stars and Renegades meet this evening in a Melbourne derby. Nathan Kutzner returning from
with a slim chance of a shower later on, getting down to 24 tonight. Mostly sunny tomorrow, a top of 33, partly cloudy by Saturday. And the Listener app's the new home of your local news. Join up to listen live or on demand.
MG ZST Essence. With more style. More luxury. More safety tech with 360-degree camera at 33,690 drive away with all options included. The award-winning MG ZST Essence is the more you've been looking for.
Townsville's Hit 103.1.
Townsville Dental Centre. Emergency appointments 7 days a week. Call 1300 4MyT.
Hit News Briefing.
All the latest on the Russian-Ukraine situation, and Qantas posts a massive half-year loss. Hi, it's Dan Fleck here with your national briefing. Concerning developments out of Russia, President Vladimir Putin's made an address to the nation where it appears he's outlined plans for a military operation. We're waiting on further info and translation, so stay tuned. The news coincides with an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council in response to the massing of Russian troops on the Ukrainian border. Secretary-General Antonio Guterres making this impassioned plea a short time ago.
I have only one thing to say from the bottom of my heart. President Putin, stop your troops from attacking the Ukraine. Give peace a chance.
Earlier today, Canberra signed off on the next step to get targeted sanctions in place against Russia in light of the Ukraine situation. PM Scott Morrison says the move's unlikely to stop the nation from its moves against Ukraine, but it does send a clear message on where Australia stands.
The reason we're doing this is there must be a price for the unprovoked, unlawful, unwarranted, unjustified attacks and threats and intimidation that is being imposed by Russia on Ukraine.
While opposition leader Anthony Albanese says his party is united with the coalition when it comes to condemning the actions of Moscow.
I don't look for false distinctions between the government and the opposition. It's in Australia's national interest for us to have a common position.
He's also called for the government to make sure we continue to work hand in glove with our allies. Briefly to the COVID front, there's been just under 40 COVID-related deaths across the country today, while cases continue to rise in WA with more than 600 confirmed overnight. Construction giant ProBuild's gone into voluntary administration. Deloitte's been appointed administrator after its parent company ceased financial support. It's now focused on stabilising the business in the short term. The company has around 18 projects on the go nationally. And Qantas has posted a before-tax loss of close to $1.3 billion. CEO Alan Joyce says Omicron and lockdowns have taken a toll, but he's confident things will improve as more overseas tourists touch down.
By the time we get to the fourth quarter, we're back to 90 to 100% of pre-COVID levels domestically, and we're back to over 40% internationally. And when we get to July, we're hoping to be in that quarter to be up to 70% international.
If you spot low-hanging power lines or damage to the electricity network, call Ergon on 13 16 70 immediately so they can make it safe.
The Demons have made a statement in their pre-season trial against the Roos, Melbourne beating their rivals 132-44. Earlier today, Carlton beat St Kilda by 7 points in their practice match. There's another 5 practice games scheduled for tomorrow. NRL and Melbourne Storm will attempt to have Brandon Smith cleared to return for their season opener. The Hookers hoping the All-Stars clash can count towards his one-week ban, which South star Latrell Mitchell has successfully argued this week. But teammate Josh King isn't sure the same rules will apply to Smith's case.
I'm not sure around all the rules and regulations around that. I think they might be a little bit different in a few ways, the suspensions around where they were handed down from. I'm flat out looking after myself, so I think the clubs across all that.
Trials continue tomorrow with Manly v Canberra before the Roosters face West Tigers. And finally to tennis, and Alexander Zverev has apologised to his fans, admitting his outburst towards an umpire was wrong and unacceptable. He was kicked out of the Mexican Open as a result of
Possible shower for Townsville to Savo with a max temp of 33 degrees, dropping to 25. Mostly sunny tomorrow and Saturday. Possible shower Sunday. And our listener app is a new home of local news. Download the app now to listen live or on demand.
MG ZST Essence. With more style. More luxury. More safety tech with 360-degree camera. At $33,690 drive away with all options included. The award-winning MG ZST Essence is the more you've been looking for.
On air, online, and on your smart speaker.
Capras Community Care. Special support for those special to us. Visit capras.com.au. Here's News Briefing.
Labor continues its election campaign march without the party leader. Queensland announces plans to relax COVID close contact isolation rules and concerns the price of chocolate's about to go up. Hi, it's Dan Flegg here with your news briefing. Scott Morrison's wishing the opposition leader well as he isolates in Sydney after contracting COVID. Anthony Albanese's shadow cabinet will step up to the plate over the next week while the Labor leader recovers. The PM says he hopes his rival's illness is mild. However, he's also said the coalition's re-election campaign will not slow down in light of his absence.
The government, the Liberals and Nationals, the LNP here in Queensland, will just continue to make the points that we've made. We've been strong economic managers and we have a strong economic plan going forward that enables us to guarantee the essential services that Australians rely on.
Scott Morrison from the Sunshine State there, while Labor's continued its election campaigning in WA without the opposition leader. Anthony Albanese was supposed to be there today, but obviously has tested positive for COVID and will be in isolation for a week. Instead, Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong stepped up, and she's taken a swipe at the PM in the process.
He said New South Wales was the gold standard and made some weird reference to cave people about Western Australians. But most of all, he fought against Premier Mark McGowan and your state government who are trying to keep Western Australians safe through the pandemic.
Remaining in the state briefly, and WA Premier Mark McGowan's tested positive for COVID too. He was already isolating after revealing he was a close contact. Speaking of, Queensland's the latest state to ease its COVID close contact isolation rules. Changes will come into effect at 6 p.m. on April 28, so next Thursday. There'll be some measures for close contacts to follow though still, which will include telling employers before returning to work and to test for the virus every 2 days. Similar changes are coming into effect in New South Wales tonight and will be in place in Victoria by tomorrow. Questions have been raised about whether we'll see an increase in COVID cases on the East Coast as a result. However, epidemiologist Professor Adrian Esterman doubts the change will do much in terms of numbers.
To be honest, I don't think the removal of the isolation part of it is going to make a huge impact on transmission.
Travel website Trivago has been fined close to $45 million for misleading customers. The company was found by the federal court a couple of years back to have breached consumer laws after advertising its services made it easier to find the best price or deal for rooms. And the cost of chocolate could continue to go up. Nestle has warned its prices will rise after already recording a 5% hike in the first 3 months of the year.
Ergon is urging drivers to slow down when roadside power line works are in progress. Please follow the traffic control signs and speed limits for everyone's safety.
Starting with AFL, and Leon Cameron's future at GWS is in the spotlight as they go searching for just their second win of the season against the informed Saints in Canberra tonight. The coach knows he's under pressure and put contract talks on hold until the season's end. Chief footy reporter Damien Barrett believes this will be Cameron's last season in charge.
I can't see him being coach in 2023 regardless of what happens between now and the remainder of 2022.
The Giants welcome back co-captain Toby Green while the Saints regain Jimmy Webster. To NRL, and Manly forward Hamole Olakawatu's been done for a high tackle offence on Aidan Tolman, which saw him sin bin in last night's match. He'll be suspended for a game, even with an early guilty plea. The Sharks kicked off round 7 with a 34-22 win over the Sea Eagles. Tonight the Broncos face the Bulldogs. And another win for the undermanned Kings, who've down the Taipans by 87 points to 77 up in Cairns in the NBL. They're back home Sunday afternoon to take on the Hawks. The Wildcats face the Hawks. The Phoenix goes against the 36ers tonight.
Emergency care centre is open from 7 a.m.
The chance of a shower or two for central Queensland this afternoon. 25 the top in Rockhampton, becoming partly cloudy tomorrow. 27 in Rocky and Gladstone. And our listener app is your new home of local news. Download the app now to listen live or on demand.
online and on your smart speaker. Sun State Motorcycles, the corner of Old Maryborough Road and Nissan Street by Alba.
Hit News Briefing.
Hello, Emma Griffiths with your news briefing. The PM isn't fazed by the latest opinion polls. A new YouGov survey suggests Labor would win a majority government with 80 seats in Parliament if the election was held today. Scott Morrison says it'll be up to us to decide the results on May 21.
The election is in the hands of the Australian people. It's not in the hand of pollsters or modellers or anyone else. It's in Australians' hands.
The Prime Minister has announced a $55 million partnership with Tasmania to improve mental health services. Meantime, the Labor leader has spent the day touring Queensland with the creation of a battery manufacturing precinct top of the agenda. A $100 million partnership with the state government has been talked up. Anthony Albanese says the latest findings show the country could really prosper in the sector if it has a go.
A national battery strategy making batteries here could create 34,700 jobs and $7.4 billion of economic activity by 2030.
The Queensland Government has opened its home resilience package to help those hit by floods. It's worth close to $750 million. The package allows those affected by floods to raise, repair, retrofit or have their homes voluntarily purchased. And North Korea has reportedly declared a national emergency after detecting its first ever case of COVID-19. Its leader, Kim Jong-un, has apparently ordered a strict nationwide lockdown.
Ergon is urging drivers to slow down when roadside power line works are in progress. Please follow the traffic control signs and speed limits for everyone's safety.
In sport, Gold Coast have been pushed on notice with a squad shake-up to hopefully reinvigorate their 2022 season. There's been several changes for the Titans ahead of Saturday's clash with the Dragons, with Jared Wallace, Phil Sammy and Jaden Campbell all in. Centre Isan Masters comes back in too and says it's a team effort.
Everyone's on notice and everyone needs to, put in a good game. So if I go out there and just do, the little things that Justin Phillips wants me to do, and I can do that. So, with a lot of those on this team that have to play well, so that's all.
Showers and the chance of a thunderstorm on the Fraser Coast. It'll drop down to 19 degrees overnight, rain and 24 tomorrow, much of the same over the weekend. Our listener app is the home of local news. Download now to listen live or on demand.
The MG-HS mid-sized SUV. More space, more safety tech with MG Pilot, and more peace of mind. All from only $29,990 drive away. The MG-HS. It's the more you've been looking for.
On air, online and on your smart speaker. Find your career in civil construction at Wagner Corporation. Now hiring. Visit wagnercorporation.com.au.
Hit News Briefing.
Hello, Emma Griffiths at your news briefing. Guy Sebastian's former manager, Titus Day, has been found guilty of embezzling some, but not all, of the celebrity's money. The 49-year-old was accused of failing to pay the singer more than $880,000 after being managed by him for more than a decade. Mr. Day has denied any wrongdoing and alleged the celebrity owed him money. He's been found guilty of more than 30 charges, but acquitted of others. Police say they never gave up to get a conviction over a 1994 bombing in Adelaide that claimed the life of a WA police officer. Jeffrey Bowen died in the parcel bombing of the National Crime Authority office. Lawyer Peter Wallace was injured. Today, Dominic Perry has been found guilty, and South Australia Police Commissioner Grant Stevens says it follows unrelenting efforts from investigators.
I'm relieved for the family that we've got a result that they were obviously hoping for, and I'm also hopeful that this result gives the family some ability to move forward. You never get over something like this.
Headaches for commuters across New South Wales today with train delays across the network. Sydney Trains is pointing the finger at the rail union for the disruptions, with services running at a weekend timetable, while the union claims its industrial action shouldn't be causing any problems on the network. And tough news for CommBank customers. The lender has upped its fixed mortgage rates by 1.4%. However, its lowest variable home loan rate has been reduced by 0.15%. Tomorrow's car is in stock today. Take a tech drive in a Hyundai Tucson Turbo Diesel and experience innovative tech and all-wheel drive performance. In sport, mixed fortunes for Melbourne ahead of facing Manly to kick off round 16 of the NRL tonight. Ryan Pappenhausen returns at fullback, but both Cam Munster and Felice Kafusi are out. Meantime, both Daly Cherry Evans and Jake Trbojevic will line up for the Sea Eagles. An empty grandstand has collapsed as rain delays day 2 of the first cricket test between Australia and Sri Lanka in Gaul. And Novak Djokovic says he's moved past his Australian Open visa scandal after rushing past Aussie Naomi Kokkinakis overnight. Slight chance of a shower this afternoon in Toowoomba. It'll drop down to 11 degrees overnight. Rain and 13 tomorrow. Much of the same on Saturday. A shower or 2 on Sunday. And our listener app is the home of local news. Download to listen now.
The MG mid-sized SUV. More space, more safety tech with MG Pilot, and more peace of mind. All from only $29,990 drive away. The MG HS. It's the more you've been looking for.
90 Sunshine Coast MG. Across the Sunshine Coast on 91.1 and iHeartRadio. This is Hot 91 News.
Hey there, Courtney Becht here with your news update. Queensland's embattled health system has been placed under the microscope at estimates hearings, revealing plans to build satellite hospitals are behind schedule and over budget. Jess Ambler has more.
7 satellite hospitals are planned for the southeast, including in Tugun, 8 Mile Plains and Caboolture. The sites were pitched during the 2020 state election campaign in a bid to take pressure off major hospitals and bring services closer to some high-growth but underserviced communities. They were meant to be finished by May 2023 at a cost of $265 million. But today it was confirmed at an estimates hearing they're now expected to open in the second half of the year, with a $15 million cost increase.
Pressure is mounting on the federal government to clarify whether it will keep a promise to cut electricity bills by $275. Labor went to the May election pledging to cut power prices as part of its plan to reduce cost of living pressures. An Aussie couple has fallen into a sinkhole on New Zealand's North Island, leaving a woman in a serious condition. The geothermal hole is believed to have opened up following recent heavy rain. And a landmark report has found air pollution contributes to dementia. The Committee on the Medical Effects of Air Pollutants believes polluted air causes damage to the blood vessels in the brain. Dementia Australia Associate Professor Michael Woodward says people who live near busy roads or polluted cities have an increased risk.
This analysis of many research studies seems to indicate that it might be that some of the pollutants get into our blood and could potentially affect how our brain works and indeed increase our risk of developing dementia.
At Chemist Warehouse, get half price off the goat range. Hot 91 Sport.
Maroons coach and former Storm fullback Billy Slater doesn't believe there's any cause for panic for Melbourne just yet. Melbourne heads into tonight's clash with the Warriors in Auckland, having lost 4 straight games. Slater says they just need to hang on until players return from injuries.
The biggest challenge is making sure that they're in a good position on the ladder when they do get it together, and that's really important. But I think the priority is to be hitting your straps in about 6 weeks' time, so they got time up their sleeve.
And lawn bowls and para-lawn bowls will kick off the 2022 Commonwealth Games.
Are you a truck, multi-skilled or excavator operator looking to grow your career with an industry leader? TEAS is looking for experienced operators to join our current project in Blackwater. We'll pay you up to $155,000 annually, plus up to an extra $10,000 through our new Safe Production Bonus Scheme. It's a 7-7 roster and includes accommodation, meals, busing, Mackay, Rockhampton, all salary sacrifice lines.
A nice clear evening coming up. Weekend outlook, a bit of a mixed bag really. Tomorrow we're expecting a mostly sunny one. 9 degrees tonight, 19 tomorrow. There could be a strong wind warning current for the coastal waters, so check that as well. If you're heading out boating, it may be a bit of a hairy day tomorrow. Sunday, cloudy, 12 to 21. Currently sitting on 17 degrees.